Imagine this. You stand before a mirror. You look into the eyes of someone you think you know, yet you don't recognize. You feel as if invisible strings are subtly pulling your life, forcing you to replay the same mistakes. You crave change, but every time you almost believe it will be different, everything falls apart again. Here's a truth most people run from. You are the one destroying your life, not circumstances, not others, not fate, you. With your thoughts, your habits, your fears, the ones you call your mind. Psychology says humans are creatures of habit. But there's a darker truth. Humans are slaves to their programming. Your brain is an ancient survival machine. It doesn't want happiness. It wants predictability. So it chooses familiar pain over unfamiliar freedom. You believe you act from logic, but in reality, deep emotional patterns run the show. Every decision, every reaction, every choice, not random, but the echo of old fear. The fear of rejection. The fear of insignificance. Until you face those shadows, you'll replay your script of destruction. Insight 1. Comfort is your enemy. You seek peace but pay for it with meaning. Comfort is a trap disguised as safety. Your brain loves routine because it's predictable. You choose the known even when it's killing you. That's why you return to those who won't choose you. Why you procrastinate. Why you stay when you should leave. Comfort deceives. It whispers, "Stay, this is safe." But in truth, it slowly drains your strength. How many times have you felt that strange state when everything seems stable, yet inside you feel hollow? You're not in hell, but you're not living either. That feeling is a sign that comfort has killed your movement. And without motion, the mind begins to rot. Insight 2. The illusion of control. You love to believe you're steering your life. But the truth is, habits built over years steer you. You're not making choices. You're replaying your past. 90% of your thinking is automatic reaction. You live by an old code that once helped you survive, but now it stunts your growth. That is the invisible prison. You tell yourself, "I've got this under control." But if it were true, you wouldn't feel anxious. Control is the fear of loss. And when fear rules, the mind narrows. You see threats, not opportunities. You slowly program your brain for self-sabotage. Insight 3. The value frame. You destroy yourself every time you let others' expectations outweigh your truth. You live inside someone else's frame. You try to be liked, to earn, to prove. But the more you try, the less of you remains. The psychology of confidence is simple. Value is born not from approval but from inner grounding. You can't be confident while seeking validation outside. See how this plays out in relationships. You meet someone who excites you. Suddenly your focus shifts from who you are to how you appear. You start performing, acting stronger, calmer, better. But paradoxically, that makes you weaker. Because you lose connection with yourself. True value lies in the silence within. When you don't need to convince anyone. When you know who you are, even unseen. That feeling creates confidence that draws people more powerfully than any mask ever could. Insight 4. The psychology of avoidance. You're not afraid of failure. You're afraid of your own truth. Failure is at least honest. It shows your limits. Success demands exposure. It forces you to face who you've been all along and who you must become. That's why you sabotage the moment things start to work. You feel anxiety when life begins to rise. Because deep down, the old belief whispers, "I don't deserve this. I'll ruin it." And your mind, eager to prove itself right, finds a way to break what works. You call it coincidence, but it's programming. The brain doesn't want to be happy. It wants to be right, even if that destroys you. That's why, when things go well, you look for a catch. When life is calm, you create drama. When someone loves you, you push them away. The mind hates uncertainty. It prefers the pain it knows. Insight 5. Emotional dependency. You destroy yourself when you make others the center of your existence. When your mood, self-worth, and confidence depend on their reactions. That's not love. It's dependency disguised as connection. You don't seek a person. You seek proof that you matter. But the psychology of attraction says this. We're drawn not to the needy, but to the whole. Not to those who ask for energy, but to those who radiate it. Your confidence doesn't come from perfection. It comes from wholeness, even when everything falls apart. You can't build healthy relationships until you build one with yourself. As long as you fear loneliness, you'll choose those who confirm it. As long as you seek love to fill a void, you'll find only reflections of your lack. Then comes the moment of awareness. You begin to see how you created your own downfall, unconsciously, automatically, from fear, from habit, from loyalty to old wounds. It hurts, but it's the beginning of freedom, because now you see the game. And once you see, you're no longer a victim, you're the observer. Awareness shifts the trajectory, the brain adjusts. You begin to choose differently. Liberation doesn't start with victory, it starts with honesty. When you first admit, yes, I've been in my own way, not out of stupidity, not out of weakness, but because you were trying to survive an old reality. Now you're ready to live by new rules. You start to realize the mind can be reprogrammed. Thoughts aren't facts. Emotions are signals, not sentences. The brain is adaptable. Each time you act despite fear, you create a new neural pathway. You literally change your biology. You're no longer a hostage of your past. You can rewrite your internal coordinates. Understand that confidence isn't loud words but deep inner calm. That strength isn't control but awareness. That love isn't dependency but the meeting of two whole people. From this point, you begin to notice patterns. You see where your mind sabotages, where emotions drive behavior, where habits pull you down the same spiral. And when you see it, the cycle breaks. You become the observer of your mind. Not a fighter, but a witness. That's the first step toward inner freedom. Freedom isn't controlling everything. It's not being ruled by your fears. You're not weak. You just believed for too long that survival was life. But now you know. Everything that collapses isn't punishment. It's cleansing. Life doesn't destroy you. It breaks what no longer serves. When you stop running from yourself, you begin to see strength in your darkness. Darkness isn't the enemy. It's simply the part of you you refuse to accept. Acceptance creates wholeness. Here's the dark truth. You are your own enemy, but you can become your own salvation. The mind can be tricked, the intellect guided, but the soul can never be silenced forever. It will whisper again and again, wake up. You are more than your fears, more than your mistakes, more than your mind. Remember, you stop destroying your life when you stop destroying yourself inside, when you stop fighting what you feel, when you realize pain isn't the enemy, it's the signal of awakening. Your new life doesn't begin with a perfect moment. It begins with an honest look in the mirror. In that second when you say, yes, I created this chaos, and now I'll create order. Because strength doesn't come from outside. It awakens when you stop hiding, and then everything that once fell apart begins to form something whole. Life doesn't destroy, it frees. And if you're brave enough not to look away, you become the one who never breaks again. You become the builder of awareness, of strength, of silence. And when the next storm comes, you won't fall. You'll just stand taller and smile, because now you know everything that broke was part of your awakening.